Welcome to Pasvalys, the land of sinkholes and dinosaurs. You will find Pasvalys in the north of Lithuania, right on the border to Latvia. It is 2 hours away from the capital Vilnius, and it is on a direct route from Vilnius to Riga, so it is a good place to stop by when traveling there. The population of Pasvalys district reaches around 22,600 in 2022. The district capital Pasvalys is one of those charming small towns that no one hears about in the bigger cities. It was my first time coming here when I filmed this video in autumn 2022, and I was pleasantly surprised with it. Pasvalys, like many towns in Lithuania, is quite old, established in the 16th century. Its geography made it a good trade center, as it is kind of halfway from Vilnius to Riga, the capital of Latvia. The old times are still felt when you reach the town center, the old town. There still are some cobblestone streets and a small alley with old houses near the church. The church is probably the oldest building in Pasvalys, built in the end of the 18th century. But if we go behind it, we'll find a tiny street leading to one of the nicest places to get a view of the river crossing the town. This is where the old bridge across the river used to stand, and at this observational deck stands the town's legend. His name was Antanielis, a quirky street musician who used to play his violin here by the bridge in the 1930s. It's cute how once we get closer to him, his music starts to play through the speakers. Another place to visit by the river is definitely not one would expect to find in a town: the deepest underwater cave in Lithuania. The green spring was formed when a sinkhole collapsed here, but at first it was without water. Only in the 1960s, the nearby underground stream sprang into it, and it continues to flow to the nearby river to this day. The cave is 21 meters deep and looks quite scary, at least to me. In general, Pasvalys district has many sinkholes, just like the nearby Biržai district. There even is a city park called Sinkhole Park, but the sinkholes there aren't as large as in Biržai. Near the Green Spring sinkhole there also is a small park called Millstone Museum, although there aren't any signs except that there are plans for renovation. So to me it looked like a tiny sculpture park made of millstones, which is quite nice too. Outside town there is another place with similar vibe, but much larger. Balsai Water Mill has a park around it, with plenty of interesting sculptures and of course plenty of millstones. The water mill was built in 1764. Today it is well kept and repurposed as a hall for banquet parties. But the park is open for visitors all the time. It's a lovely place for a walk with interesting sculptures to look at and plenty of tiny bridges to cross. I also found another interesting bridge in Švobiškis village. There stands this pretty bridge with arches forming a full circle with its reflection in the water. It was built during the Second World War for the narrow gauge railway, so the bridge itself is narrow too, with just 2.6 meters in width. Although it's repurposed to be a car bridge today, it is a bit scary to drive through it. When passing by Švobiškis, I also spotted a cute evangelist church built in the 18th century. Across the bridge from Švobiškis, there is Joniškėlis village, where I found a few interesting things to see. It seems that the narrow gauge railway continues to Joniškėlis too, as I found one of the old trains just standing there as a part of decorations for a local park. An alley surrounded by old trees connects the park to a large manor house nearby. I was surprised that I have never heard before of such a lovely manor and its park. Joniškėlis Manor, built in early 19th century in classical and Baroque styles, belonged to Karpiai family. The main house might look small at first, but it has an extension from the back. Today the main house is an agricultural institute. The manor has many more buildings left as well, although they are not renovated. What impressed me the most here was actually the park. It is created in both English and French styles, with a small stream running through it. There are more than 100 tree varieties, but the most common are the tall oaks and linden trees. There is a beautiful linden tree alley as well. Actually, Jauniškėlis Manor and its park has some scary legends about those trees. One of them says that if you want to see the late master of a house, you need to come here during the thunderstorm at night. The legend says that when the park was first built, the trees couldn't grow, so the master was advised to water the land with the blood of 9 boys and 9 girls. As he did that, the trees started to grow, oaks for boys and lindens for girls. But the parents of the poor children cursed the master, and after he died, his soul got trapped in the park for as long as those trees were standing. So supposedly, during the thunderstorm, his face appears in the park begging for the thunder to strike and burn the trees. Creepy. But actually, Karpiai were a prosperous and charitable family. In the end of the 18th century, they have built this pretty classical church. In 1810, they were the first in the Russian Empire to release the villagers from serfdom. At the same time, they also opened the first in Lithuanian land university school and hospital, which still works these days. The little Jauniškėlis town still looks lovely and well taken care of today. One more place to visit in Pasvalys district also has some dark stories to tell, although this time they are true. We are going through a lonely dirt path deep into Žadeikiai forest, where a partisan bunker from 1945 is hiding. I was more than surprised at my arrival to find some men camping outside the bunker, but that even added to the feelings that were filling me up thinking about this place. Let's go inside. This is one of the hundreds of bunkers around Lithuania where partisans fighting against the Soviet occupation used to hide after the Second World War. Although this bunker was renovated recently, it feels as if the partisans were sleeping here just last night. The guerrilla fights lasted for almost 10 years and more than 20,000 young men were killed. Lithuania lost a lot of good people those days. This bunker is one of the few that you can visit around the country. Most of them fell to disrepair throughout the decades. While this place is so far away from any village, it is worthy of a visit when seeking a different kind of experience. Let's finish the video on a brighter note. The last place to visit in Pasvalys district, Raubonys Park, a large adventure and dinosaur park. It is situated next to the main highway towards Latvia and the beautiful Ąžuolpamūšė hill fort on the other side of the road, which can also be a nice place for a short stop on the way to Latvia. Raubonys Park, however, I cannot call a short stop. It's a huge park with dinosaurs, amusement park and a zoo. I've spent here 3 hours with my son and it wasn't enough for him. The dinosaur park has plenty of life-size functional dinosaur figurines, attractive for any 5-year-old, I guess. And the amusement park also has a lot of things to do for kids, but it's fit for a much wider age range. There are many things to try, from go-karts and water boats to laser tag fighting pit and treetop climbing track, and much more. The zoo is also large here, as all the animals have quite a lot of space to roam around. The deers are even walking around freely in a large area, but we love coming to people to ask for food. Many other farm animals are also available for visiting and feeding them. The bunnies even have a little town, but I wouldn't recommend going to the goats. They jump a lot. Overall, Pasvalys is quite an interesting place to stop by, although it doesn't have such famous sites as Pakruojis or Biržai districts nearby. But it is probably more fun for those who are traveling with kids because of Raubonys Park, a perfect place to discharge the overflowing energy. See you in Pasvalys. Thanks for watching.